Hello everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I'm so glad you're here today. I am feeling great today and I'm so excited about this little project that I'm going to bring you. If you don't recognize this paper, it comes from that huge pack that's called Delightfully Eclectic, and it is a huge pack of paper. This is it right here, and it is like 48 sheets of 12 by 12 double-sided, beautiful, absolutely stunning paper. And I chose this particular pattern. It has the stripe on the back and this beautiful floral on the front. And I think you get 4 sheets of each design, I believe, or 4 of each design. So let me see if I can find that one, because I know it's in here. Oh, there's so many pretty papers in here. You could just go crazy with the colors, and it's got some of our new colors in here as well as some of our old ones. If you notice, this one has some bubble bath in it, and I can't seem to put my finger. Oh, there it is. There it is. This is what the piece of paper looked like. Now, I did my stripes in that direction, and then this is that beautiful floral, and you can see how well they will pair together. But we're going to make it in a different palette today. So let me show you what I want to do today. If you haven't gotten this pack of paper, it's on sale for 15% off through the end of the month. Also, if you place an order with me, please, please, please use my host code. That helps me be able to give better gifts to all of you that use my host code. So use my host code. If you spend $50 or more, you will receive a free gift from me. And but if your order's over $149, do not use the host code. I want you to get those Stampin' rewards yourself. So just remember, if it's, I'll tell you what, use the host code no matter how much your order is, and I'll still make sure you get a little something extra from me. But I wanted to put that out there real quick. Before we start with the card, let me go over a couple of announcements. This is our paper sale, 15% off through the end of the month. And if you want this flyer, please reach out to me and I will email it to you. And it gives you all the papers that are on sale and the price, the sale price, and the order number, which makes it really easy to order those paper. Starting July the 6th, there's going to be some new online exclusives. You're going to want to check those out. Look at this cute little truck punch. I know everybody's going to want that. The sleigh is a huge sleigh. I am going to be ordering that one pretty soon. This tells us more about our online exclusives, and this is basically for us demonstrators. The paper pumpkin, that's already happened. The other thing that I wanted to share with y'all is if you join my team during the month of June, you will get $155 of your choice of products out of the catalog, anything you want, for $99, and that's free shipping. And all you pay is your sales tax in your state if your state has sales tax. Great time to join. You can be a kit snatcher. Come in, grab your kit, and be done. You can enjoy the discount for the 3 months that you're signed up for. If you don't, you drop off and you keep your kit and everything's good. But if you love the product and you want to continue getting it, you can just be your own best customer. So that was all of our announcements for right now. And I want to show you this really cute card. I thought this was so precious. It's a gift card holder, or you can just make it as a card holder. And look how that pulls up and back down. It's trying to hang right there, but it does open and close really easily, just like that. I love it. We're going to do it today, but we're going to use a different palette. So, of course, I'm working with my Fresh as a Daisy suite, the Cheerful Daisy stamp set and dies, and then of course we have that beautiful paper. But I'm not using the paper. I'm going to use a different paper today. I'm going to use the Countryside Inn. Y'all know I love that. And again, that paper is on sale. Let me show you that. The paper is on sale right here. and you can get that pack of paper right now for $10.62. So if you love this Countryside Inn, grab it before the sale goes off. They only run a paper sale a couple of times a year, so grab it while it's on sale. All right, here's my dies and my stamp set, and I've got everything sort of kind of arranged here, what we're going to need to make the base of our card and the ribbon and stuff that we're going to use. I've got a couple pieces of just basic white cardstock that we're going to use for stamping. Let's turn over and let's start with our card base. Our card base is Night of Navy. It's 4.5 by 11, and we're going to do some scoring. We're going to score at 3 3/4 and 9 1/4. We'll do that in just a minute. We have a piece of Countryside Inn that's 3 1/4 by 7 inches, and we're going to score that at a 1/2 inch and 5 3/8 inch. And y'all can see I've already scored this because I wanted to kind of sort of get this going in the right direction, but that piece will be like this once you score it. We'll go back over that again in a minute. We're going to use a piece of boho blue, and this is 3 3/4 by 4. We have another piece of the Designer Series paper, the Countryside Inn. This is 3 5/8 by 3 7/8. Don't worry about trying to write all this down. It's going to be on the blog, so you shouldn't have any problem. This is just a strip that's 1.5 by 4 of the Designer Series paper. And then we're going to need a piece of vellum that's a 3 by 3 square, and we're going to cut a circle out of that. So those are our pieces. So before we get started with anything, let's do some stamping. And what I want to do is this big flower right here, I want to stamp that, and that's the one that has the detail. So we're going to put that right there. I'm going to get a stamp block and load this up. And can y'all guess what color we're going to stamp this in? Because we're working with these beautiful blues, I think I want my flower to be boho blue. So the boho, you know what, I grabbed the wrong one. I absolutely grabbed the wrong one. I already have the other one loaded. What was I thinking? It was one of those cases probably where I wasn't thinking, or I would have gotten the right piece for the right set, but I didn't. I grabbed the wrong one. This is the one I want. This is our solid image, and it just has a few lines in it. The other one is more the detailed one, but this is the one I want. Do I want to stamp off? Let's try it. No, I want it full on. We're going to go full on. And I'm going to stamp it right about there. Give it a good press. And there is our beautiful little daisy. I'm going to close this ink up, and I'm going to grab the wild wheat, and we're going to do our center in the wild wheat. And that's this one right here. It's the larger center flower. So I'm going to ink that up pretty good. And I think I'm going to go like this. I'm not crazy about that. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's try it another way. Let's stamp our center and go back and stamp our flower. Sometimes doing the smaller one first can be helpful. So let's try that and see. Oh yeah, I think that's better. That's much better than this one. And you see as it dries, it starts to get lighter. So if yours is too dark when you stamp it, don't fret, because it will lighten as it starts to dry. Now I'm going to grab my Stampin' Scrub because I want to clean off my stamps just a little bit. Like that. And like this. Okay, I've got those cleaned up. And now we can bring out our die, and we're going to cut that flower out. So I'm going to grab the die, and this will be the die that cuts the outline only, and that's this one right here. I usually keep it over top of that one, and I like to figure out the proper way that this goes around, and that looks like that's it right there. And I need a piece of my Post-it tape. And I'm going to make sure I get this back on there so that it's cutting it just where I want it to. And the secret behind getting your die cuts perfect is making sure you're not seeing any white lines on the outside. As you put this down, you want to make sure that you're not seeing any of that white line. And I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, but I also want to cut out of Night of Navy. I want to cut some of this. So I'm going to cut off a piece of this. Let's lay this over here. We're going to try to do all of our die cutting in one shot. So I'm going to cut off maybe about like that. I think that'll work. Now, I'm not measuring or anything. I just cut off a piece that I think will accommodate me cutting this through twice. So I'm going to go offline and I'm going to cut these, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and we've gotten our pieces cut, and this is our, try to knock it out of there without having to use a pokey tool, but sometimes these can be a little, here we go, it finally came loose. At least I thought it did. It did that time. I guess anything would come loose when I sling it around that many times, right? Okay, there's our flower, and there's our little stems. And we can move that out of our way. And this out of our way. And then I just want to make sure I clean out all my little pieces out of this. We're going to lay this over to the side because we're not going to need this right away. We are going to need to stamp a sentiment, but we'll get to that shortly. And we've got this piece of paper, and I will probably use this little die that came in with the Cheerful Daisies. We'll use that in a minute. Let's go ahead now and do our scoring on our pieces. So we're going to take out our Night of Navy, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard. Just like that. And this needs to be scored at 3 3/4 and 9 1/4. So I'm putting it in on the 11-inch side. Let me come down a little bit so you can see. All right, so back to our scoring. So 3 3/4, which is going to be 1/4 before you get to 4. So we're going to score down right here. Then we're going to go over to 9 1/4, and that's going to be right here. And that's all the scoring we need to do on that piece. Now, our other piece that needed scoring, I'm going to show you this one. We're going to put it in, and we're going to score it at, and I've already done my scoring, so we don't have to do it again, but it scores at 1/2 inch and 5 3/8. So 1, 2, and there's 3 3/8. So that piece is scored now. And of course, we're going to use this piece here. So we're going to bend this piece back and this piece up. So this is going to make a little pocket that's going to fit into our little slider in just a moment. So this piece here, let me go ahead and put my Simply Scored scoring tool back down here. And we're going to fold this up, and let's get a bone folder so we can give a nice crease to this. And then let's fold this one back. And let's crease that down. And I like to go over my crease lines, and you want that to meet up where it's right together just like that. Not overlapping, but right together. See how they go together and it's almost the seam becomes seamless, but then when you open it, they pop up. That's what you're looking for. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I want to put some glue on this. Let me double check this and make sure I'm doing this properly. Okay. What we're going to do, I'll tell you what, let's work on this part of the card first. Let's put a little line of glue right here on both sides of this, because we're going to close this up and make a pocket. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue, and I'm going to run a very thin line right down there, just on the side pieces. You don't want to glue the top or anything together, because that would take away from our pocket. Now I'm going to squeeze that in just a little bit so that when it does glue, that pocket will give a little opening there. Now I'm going to take my bone folder again, and I'm just going to close this up really well, just like that. Now we're ready to decorate. Let me grab some glue, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this piece to this piece, and I think I'm going to put it down like that. So I'm going to run a line of glue all along the back, and then I'm going to set this down like this. And again, anytime that you're gluing to a smaller piece of paper, it's where you only have a small margin, it's real important to try to make sure you get those edges as nice and straight as you can. And I'm going to go back and just iron this out just like this. And then this is ready to put onto the front of our card. So now this piece can go down right here, and as you can see, it fits beautifully now. So I knew the minute I put that other piece on there that something was wrong, and I was pretty sure I had measured right, but evidently I didn't. I got glue on my hands, so let me clean that up so I don't get glue everywhere. But this card is a real simple card to make, but I think it really packs a punch as far as exactly what it does. Anytime you have an interactive card, people are always amazed by them, and they give sort of a wow factor. I think people just like cards that move and do something a little different than what is, the norm. So okay, we got that piece done. So now we need to glue that other piece, which is this piece right here, the 1.5 by 4, and that probably needs to go here, but I may want to use a different pattern. Let me pull another piece of paper and see what I can come up with, because I'm not, maybe this one will work. This is pretty. I think this will be really pretty on here. So we're going to cut 1.5 inches. I wasn't even thinking when I cut this, I was thinking of using this, but I don't want it to be the same top and bottom. I wanted that contrast, sort of like we have with this one, with the floral and the stripes. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. So we're just going to cut a piece off at, I think I'll cut it this way at 1.5 by 4. So let me grab my paper trimmer, and we are going to cut this at 1.5. And then we'll trim this down to 4. And now this piece should look really nice, because it is going to give us that contrast that we're looking for. And if you wanted to, you could put a piece of boho blue behind this as well. I don't think it needs it, because it's already has a lot of the boho blue in it. So we're just going to go ahead and put this down with some glue. Just like that. Let me turn that other light on. That adds a little bit more light into our situation. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piece down right here, just like that. And now we're ready to put this piece down. Now this piece is really simple. Your 1/2 inch that we folded back, you fold it up one side and back the other. This piece, the 1/2 inch that's folded back like this, is going to go right about here. What you want to make sure you do when you glue this down, you want to make sure you got about the same amount of distance from the edge to edge, and you want to make sure that this does not go over top of that score line. So what you want to make sure is that that piece is above, and I'll show you on this one. See what I mean? It needs to be even flush with that, and that's what makes it move up and down. You don't want to put it under the score line. You want this piece to go directly over top of your score line. So I'm going to take some liquid glue, and on my floral side I'm going to just run a good amount of glue, and then I'm going to sit this down right about here. And I'm going to bend it to make sure, and that's good. That's exactly what I wanted. And I'm going to use my bone folder and just crease that, and that will help iron out the glue and to make sure that everything is like it should be. Now all we're going to do is we're going to take our bone folder and give this one another good crease, and then we're going to tuck that into our pocket, just like that. So now when we push our card closed, this piece is going to move down into that pocket, and when you open it, it's going to move up. Isn't that cute? So the only thing we're going to need now is we need to get a piece of paper to go on the inside to put our message on. And like I said, this is a great gift card. If you wanted to stick a gift card inside, that would be beautiful. And this one, I think I'm going to make it a thank you card instead of a birthday card. I love this pink one for a birthday card. I thought it turned out just beautiful. But this one's going to be just a tiny bit different, and we're going to decorate the front of this one as well. So remember our pieces that we have cut here. I have my 2 little sprigs, and I have my daisy. So we're going to put those together in just a minute, and we're going to have a nice little spray like this, and we're going to get some pretty ribbon to go behind it. I'm thinking, I was thinking of using, let's see what I have back here in the boho blue. This is pretty. This would be really pretty on it. Yeah, I think I'll use this one. This one, I had that very pretty satiny ribbon with the silver stitching in it, but I think for this one I'm going to use this boho blue. This comes in, this particular pattern of ribbon comes in all of our 5 new in colors. So we are going to do that. But I got something, it looks like it caught a little piece of something that came out, so we're going to push that out of the way. I want to go ahead and make my little piece that's going to go inside. So this piece needs to be, I could have done it just a tiny bit wider. I don't know, I like it like that. So we're going to call it, let's do it 2.5 by 4. So, and we're just going to use a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this off at 2.5. And I think this is already 4. No, it's a little bit more than 4. We're going to go 2.5 this way, and then we're going to turn this and cut this at 4. And this is where you can stamp a little message. You could put a little flower. You could put, you know, for you, or whatever you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could just stamp something decorative on here and then sign at the bottom. But I want a message on here, so I'm going to put, let's see. How about this one that says your friendship means everything, and we'll put a thank you on front. I like that one. That would be this one right here. And I think I want to stamp the little flowers. Let's put that up to the top, and we're going to do the flowers down here at the bottom. And we're going to grab this little cluster of flowers, and we can put those right there in that corner. I think they'll be really pretty there. And I'm going to stamp this. I think I'm going to do Night of Navy, and I'm going to do the flowers in the boho blue. I think that'll be cute. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. And a stamp block. Go ahead and ink that up. Get that inked up really good. And we're going to stamp that right about there. And let's close this one. And now we're going to grab, oops, wrong one, boho blue. And I'm going to grab a stamp block, and I'm going to pick up my boho blue color. And I'm going to stamp those right there. Just a nice little pop of color there in the corner. Now this will tuck in here. And we could do a little something decorative here in the top if you wanted to. We have the Very Best Trio Punch that does a real pretty decorative edge. I think that would be pretty on this one because it's just kind of a real girly type card. I think these cards are just absolutely beautiful. And who wouldn't love to get a card like this? And like I said, you can always slip a gift card inside this pocket if you want to. And there we go. And there's our little flowers right there. Now we're going to close our card, and we're going to decorate the front of it. So remember I told you we would need that piece of vellum. We're going to need this 3x3 square of vellum. We're going to cut a circle out of that. So we're going to use the stylish shape dies for that. And let's see. And for this, we're going to use next to the largest circle die, and that will fit in there perfectly. So I'm going to go cut this out, and I'll come right back with that, and we'll finish putting this card together. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I went ahead and die cut my vellum circle using that stylish shape circle die. And like I said, that was the next to the largest in the, you could use whichever size you like, as long as it fits where it's not overlapping the bottom and not too much at the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. And oops, let me grab my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put a little bit right there across the top. That's not going to show because we're going to bring this piece up. What I want to make sure is when I put this down, I have about the same amount on each side. That is probably the most crucial thing that you want to make sure of. So you want that to be centered. So now we're going to take our daisy, and that's going to go something like that. And we're going to take these little sprigs that I cut out of Night of Navy, and we are going to attach them something like that, and maybe up under the edge of our flower, about like that. So what I like to do is I like to turn my flower over, and we're going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and then I'm just going to lay that into the Stampin' Seal, and then I can kind of move it just a little bit to get it exactly like I want it. Now that when we get that on there like we want it, we can then position our flower in whatever direction. And I really like it off to the edge like this. I think that looks really pretty. And we need our ribbon. So I'm going to grab a piece of the ribbon. I'm going to grab a pair of fabric scissors to cut this off with. I mean, you're only going to need about, maybe about 6 inches. So you have about 3 inches on both sides. So I'm going to cut this at an angle. I didn't do a very good job of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it together, and then I'm going to angle cut. That's much better. So that can be scrap. We can just throw that in the trash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it so that it lays sort of like this. And I want that ribbon to come out right about there. So I'm going to lay it down so that it lays across there, something like this. And I'm going to use glue dots. I find that glue dots work so well with ribbon that they are my favorite way to adhere ribbon to any project. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to use the pick end, and I'm going to pick up one of the glue dots, and I want to make sure I got that together so that they're not too far apart, but I want this to go right about there. And then I'm going to lay that across there just like that, and just give it a press, and that holds that in place. So now we can come back with this, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I only have one left on this one, so that's okay. I want to keep my dimensionals where they're either on the ribbon or up on this part. So I'm going to come across here with the dimensionals and make sure that I'm getting them laid down exactly where I want them. So that one's going to lay right there. So we need another one right about here. And maybe one right there. I might be able to put one right there because I think that will lay on that ribbon enough that we can get away with that one there. So that should be enough to hold it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my backers. And let's see if we can get these out of our way. And then we're going to sit this down right about here. Now I can see that I need something to hold right there, but I think if we press that nice and tight, that's going to work beautifully. And that vellum just gives you a nice little edge right there to have something to work with. So I'm going to come back over, and I want to stamp in Night of Navy again. So let's grab our Night of Navy. And let's tap it. And I'm going to come down just a little bit. Very pretty. And then I'm going to cover this, or position that die over top of my thank you. Something like that. And I need another little piece of tape or one of my post-it flags. That will work. And I'm going to run this through the die cut machine. I'm debating on whether I want to use my little one. Let's try it, and hopefully it will not give me the pain and grief that it did the last time I used it. So I'm going to move this card out of my way just for a minute and grab my plates. And I'm going to stagger those plates just a little bit. And let's go ahead and feed that through. That went through really well, so that was a good thing. I was holding my breath. So now that we got that cut, we can very easily pull that off. Pop that out of the die, and bring over our card, and we can tack this on right here. But again, I think it needs dimensionals, so I am going to pop it up on about 3 dimensionals. So I'm going to put one all the way over to this side and one all the way over to this side, and then I'm going to pop one in the middle. Something like that, and then we're going to lay this down right about here, and you want to kind of make sure you're getting it even from side to side, and drop that in, and there is our card. Is that not beautiful? And when you open it, it raises up, and when you close it, it goes back in. So there was both of our cards from with this design. I hope you've enjoyed it. They were such a pleasure to make. I had so much fun with both of these, and I did put my greenery on this one a little bit different than I did the blue one, but you know, this is what makes crafting so much fun, is you can always change it up and make it yours. So I love the way both of them turned out. I hope that you do. Oh, I didn't put gems on this one. We definitely need some gems. Let's hold tight and grab some pretty little dots, and these I don't know that I like those. I think I'm going to go with the rhinestones, the rhinestone basic jewels, just like I did on the other one. I like those because of the simplicity, and who doesn't love a card with a little bling? So I'm going to put one right here, and see if I can pick it up like that. There we go. And I'm going to put one right here. And then I think I want, on this one, I think I'm going to put one here and one over on the other side, just to kind of emphasize the thank you. I love the way that turned out. I think both of these cards are gorgeous in their own way. So let me know which is your favorite, whether you're more on the team pink or team blue. I love them both, and I hope that you do. God bless and keep you, and thank you so much for tuning in today. If you want to purchase any of the products that you saw me use today, everything will be linked in my blog post on the PDF tutorial. There'll be order numbers for everything used, as well as the measurements. And I'll put the measurements for the one card we made today, but I'll list the products for this one as well, as far as the bubble bath and the delightfully eclectic paper, the garden green, everything that we used. It was a little different, but still the same. God bless and keep you, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until next time.